this year at Tailored Life in Bennett.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and the holiday sales event is now underway with unbelievably low interest rates and huge discounts on both our new and pre-owned inventory. Right now, we're offering 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. These are the absolute biggest discounts of the year. You heard right, 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. So please stop on in or check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit, must trade, and Costco.
Everybody likes choices when it comes to gifts, and a Max Tan gift card offers spray tanning, UV tanning, and red light therapy at all Lincoln locations. Give the gift that everyone wants this holiday season by visiting any Max Tan location in Lincoln or at maxtan.net.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
With a wide variety of menu options, including the best prime and Wagyu steaks in Lincoln, if you haven't been to Tavern 180, you're missing out. Try any of their steak options paired with one of their well-known martinis, and this will soon become your favorite date night spot. Call your friends for a casual get-together where steak, shrimp, chicken, and tasty cocktails await your arrival. Tavern 180, located next door to Tanner's at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through December 17th is 15% off all wine and spirits and 25% off on thermometers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? Happy Monday. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. We're the old school crew coming at you live here, 1040 O Street. We are brought to you by the Mercado, certified Piedmontese, special ingredients butcher shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Andremat, and 168th and Maple up there in the O. A lot going on. If you didn't hear the earlier on with East Strick, you had my man Bill Mitchner from the Lighthouse. It's the Christmas event out there on the 27th Street Walmart. Bill was in here with a couple kids, ladies and gentlemen from Lighthouse, which that was really, really good. We talked about it extensively on the crossover there with Strick. So we're going to do this first hour live and then a little pre-record and then send everybody off on this Monday. But there's obviously a lot of Husker news going on. Obviously, the volleyball team handled business and represented. Men's basketball team had a big bounce back. We talked about that Friday, obviously, down there at the brewery, which obviously is a phenomenal spot down there, Austin.
So fun.
I like that place down there.
Yeah. Tucked away, but easy to find, like literally just down the block from the arena.
Right. And it's on the corner there, which you get like all four kind of corners to be able to, if a parking garage there, you can park on the street. You can park in the back there, kind of like a hidden gym. So I think it was really, really good down there. So it's been a pretty good 4 or 5 days for us. Been decent, a lot of Husker football news going on. So we'll do it. We got about 12, 10, 15 minutes. Kind of a sneaky good, thing that came. It started in the middle of the week last week. You got Keona Davis back. And then obviously it simultaneously, I think Nate Borkature went into the portal. And then I saw something where Nate is back. I think, right? Yeah. So I think he's back. I don't know if it's official or not. I think, don't quote me on it, but Sean Callahan said he's back. So that's great. Great news. Essentially, you have to look at the portal a few ways. You got to look at it, who you lose, obviously, and who you have to lose. One, knowing, I guess, willingly, and then unknowingly and knowingly, because sometimes people jump in the portal and you really don't know why. They just in there.
And let you know later, hey, coach, I'm in the portal.
Yeah, or I'm going. They go in the portal. You can't bring them back, and they're gone. Then you're like, all right, it's probably the best situation. But I also think when you get up a guy back that went out there to see what his options are, or just went into the portal as a part of the process, and he chooses to come back, I think you gain another player. I think you gain a player, and the reason why you gain a player, because whether it's NIL related, opportunity related, as far as snaps, or a combination of both, or just needed to do it just to see what it's like, whatever it is. When you come back, the expectations and the situation has changed in a good way. That means, say, if you started playing, I guess I said, I have a lot of respect for Emmett, a ton of respect for him as a person. I didn't talk to him much, but look, I'm not one to interview kids when they're about to leave or anything like that. This is your business. This is actually a big choice for you. I can give you my opinion, but I'm always going to support you because I know you as a kid. And there's in majority of my I do know. Sometimes I don't understand it, but look, they look at me like as an OG. I guess the OG doesn't think like a little young, wise.
Do they listen to you any better than your kids listen to you?
No, they don't listen. I mean, it's sometimes. Well, they gonna listen when they get what they want or hear what they want. But like I one thing I told him, I said, listen, man, now the stakes are higher, dude. Now you have to now you're here to prove yourself right, prove them right, and then also be even now you got to be better. There's got to be something you got to get better at, and there's nothing wrong with that. And same with Nate. Nate came on. It's been emerging probably for the last couple of years, I mean, I feel very comfortable saying that. Even for last year, like, man, that dude can play, always I think he's from Aurora.
Yep.
And he's a good athlete, big, strong kid, can run, big, good looking, tight end or whatever. And then he started to, I think Coach Dana talked about him at times, in one of his press conferences. So now the time is now, dude. You got 1 year left. Let's show and prove. Could have been earlier, sure, but we got to deal with it right now, and the expectation is a lot higher.
And I think that for those two guys specifically that you mentioned, Emmett Johnson, Nate Borkature, those additional expectations are going to push them higher. Yeah. Some guys, if they went in, they came back, the expectation would be, okay, I wanted to come back, but I came back because it was comfortable. I was scared to take the next step. I don't know what the future holds. There's a very clear plan for those two guys. There's a very clear goal for them to achieve. Be the starter at their position.
Oh, yeah.
Emmett Johnson worked his way into that by the end of the year for the second year in a row, right? Now he's coming back. Not the unquestioned dude. Dante Dowdell's still on the roster, and, you never know what freshman's going to pop up and make some impact. But the expectation from the outside is that Emmett Johnson is the starting running back next year, or at least the co-starter with Dante Dowdell. That's got to be motivation for a guy that doesn't seem like he needs much, who's been maybe written off at the start of the last 2 years, only to blossom into the most dependable option by the end. And Nate Borkinger, think about the room that he came into to the room he's into now, right? He's never been the big name. He's never been the flashy target. But Dana Holgorsen gets to Lincoln, gets his eyes on him, says, you're the guy. We want you to be that tight end. That's the way he was used at the very least. Good on Nate Borkinger for testing the waters, seeing what else was out there. But I think for his sake and for Nebraska's sake, it's good that he came back. But both of these guys coming from being overlooked, the bottom of their room, and having to work their way up, not being promised anything. Get your assurances in the portal. If that's what it takes to get you back, fine, great, whatever. But I'm not worried about those two guys crumbling under the weight of expectations or sitting back and relaxing just because they might have a little something extra on top now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you have to, you got to really, really, in this day and age of recruiting and then re-recruiting and then double re-recruiting the guys that go in the portal and come back. You got to make sure you know that or have a good idea who the person is, because I don't necessarily think like money changes you. It kind of just brings out just who you really are. And so sometimes, like I like the mindset of Nate and Emmett and all those guys is that you want to make sure that you're constantly not forgetting that you were always overlooked, constantly need to be reminded, constantly being pushed. Yeah, if you're getting more money, NIL or more opportunities or whatever it is, and that's their business, right? That's the business part. But ultimately, you can't forget where you came from. And then on the flip side, some guys have, kind of maybe been able to come back or came back or perceive that they came back and kind of relaxed a little bit. And you can't do that because this game of football, it could come down to one or two plays. We've seen it, millions of times on the NFL. I talked about it on the pre-recorded about Jalen Carter versus Devondre Campbell. And we've seen now that he's suspended for the rest of the season, 3 games. He's missing 3 game checks, which he'll appeal and probably only miss 1 game check, but he won't be able to play again. And that might be the last time he goes. So every action on the field, in practice, off the field is magnified. And that's the big thing right now is when you're trying to get guys and you want to make sure you get back, you come back for the right reasons. You got to make sure that the expectations are clear and set, and then they got to be met on both ends. And then when you do that, the portal works out great. Now, we've seen times where you've seen guys come in, had a lot of like fanfare, haven't been able to live up to it. Now, some of it's been their doing, some have been the opportunity and the kind of the schematic wise. Maybe like a little bit with O'Shawn, I think. I felt like, he was probably playing in a couple positions that he wasn't suited for. Then he didn't embrace even playing those positions. Because when you get in the league, they ain't just going to let you play what you think you want to play. You're going to play whatever the heck they want you to play. So it's a little bit of both. And so as you kind of fish, and I'm looking at this portal thing right here, and it, where you see a lot of these guys and they're still waiting. I'm sure it's been, it was as up to date as possible. You got guys in quarterbacks in there like Malik Murphy, who went to Texas originally, all potential. 5-star kid based on the potential. It was not based on production. Big, fast. I mean, he looked like RoboCop when did you ever see when he came out to high school?
Yes.
In that game, I was like, that guy looks different. But then he went to Duke and shined, learned, and was really, really good. Now he's back in the portal, probably looking for maybe a little bit bigger stage. That's questionable because was it the situation in Duke, Manny Diaz, maybe letting you work through some of those ups and downs? Kind of like Oregon State with DJ Uyunglele up there, where he shined up there, right? You're like, oh, I see why he was the number 1 overall rated kid. Then he goes on to Florida State and looks like he can't play dead, inaccurate, slow reading. Now, granted, everybody else didn't play very well, but he did not look like he looked at Oregon State. Then you got a guy like Bear Alexander, started I think at Georgia or Bama.
Georgia.
Went to USC. Played okay his first year, played good against LSU, and then started to see some of his play time dwindle. He redshirted because he played as a true freshman. So you got plenty. You got a ton of guys in there. You got to, obviously you got places that we want to try to shop at, but ultimately you just don't know who you're going to get until you figure out and see how they react to not only the expectations, the NIL part of it, which is obviously driving a lot of it, and there's nothing wrong with it. You got to, I guess, go and do it. And then also you got to see how people react to the pressure and the ramifications of not meeting the expectations. And that's the one. I don't mean to go a little bit farther, but that's the one thing the portal hasn't done. If you want to try to lie to these kids and say you're still somewhat amateur athletes, but we'll pay you. You could call it, whatever. You could dice it up or whatever. But there's no learning lessons from this.
No.
So you guys are jumping into business, and to be honest with you, and I get it. Some of these kids are young, and they're like Underwood going to Michigan, right? It's getting, let's just probably like $1 million or $2 million, right? As a quarter, I think that's what it in his first couple of years, right?
I think it was going to scale up 1, 2, 3, and 4
Okay, so
year.
and then he's probably got other stuff. So he's probably with the fanfare and everything, he's probably at like $1.5 million.
Or even like the Bansa going to BYU in basketball,
right.
$5 million off the top,
right
with
off
Nike
the
and Red Bull.
Right off the $5 million. Let's just take him since it's different than football. I don't care. Let me tell you something. And I learned this, man. I remember my man Lloyd Parker. Was working at Bank of America. Now he works for one of the 3 credit bureaus. A great dude. Played basketball at Kansas State. I was talking to him when I was at the last couple years of my career, and he would talk to me just about the big scheme of things. We'd be working out together or whatever. And we were talking about somebody that was holding out. And he looked at me and said, Jay, and it was actually right during the financial crisis in 2008. He said, listen, here's the problem. That dude, I forget who it was, he didn't understand. 99.9% of the people in America don't care. What he's wanting, rightfully so, these people will never see. And here's also to go with AJ. Yeah, you're 18 years old. Yeah, you're the number one. You're probably going to be the number one pick potentially. Worst case scenario, you're going in the lottery. Even if you just kind of, do like Jason Williams or Kyrie, I think, we get hurt, or whatever, at Duke. Those people are paying you all that money. They don't care that you're 18. You want to know why?
They're paying you like a grown man.
They're paying you like a grown man. So you can't have it both ways. Me and DP argue with you about it all the time. You can't have it both ways. If you're getting paid, you have to perform. Now, there is circumstances that stop you from performing. But if it's a lack of effort, a lack of want to, lack of over preparation, that means doing stuff outside of the stuff that you have to, mandatory stuff. Well, then that's when people are going to shine the spotlight on you. And what you do sometimes is what you would do all the time under pressure. It will not change. If you finish plays, you will finish plays under pressure. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to make every play, but the act of finishing, you can see. If you finish and don't finish fully, then that is just natural habits. And so that's what a lot of these kids are going to be facing. It's like you got your Mansour Delaney right here going from Virginia Tech to LSU. Well, listen, man, going from Virginia Tech to LSU is a big step up. I'm just letting you know, right? I'm telling you right now, because here and this is what these kids have to understand. And I'm sure LSU, from Brian Kelly, said we got to dump a whole bunch of money into our NIL because we're losing out on guys. Because Ole Miss has been putting in work. Okay,
work.
Listen, they have a legacy of corners that go way back in the day to Dale Carter. For the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
And he played at the Vikings. I'm talking about lockdown dudes.
Number 7.
You're right. And then the number 7s. So for you to go from Virginia Tech to there, you can't run and you can't hide. So they're going to expect instant production. And those are the things that I think these young kids don't understand or don't really grasp when they go into the portal, which, you need to, because the portal's there for, I guess, a reason. But you also have to understand, when you get paid, that's one set of expectations. But then the other expectations have to do it on the field. Because once you step into Tiger Stadium, Nebraska Stadium, you go to Big House, you go to Notre Dame, nobody cares what you're getting paid. You better stop that, dude. You better complete the pass, because that's all that matters. They're not going to give you a break because They're not going to let AJ just, when they play Utah, they're not just going to let you just drive in the lane because you're the eventual lottery pick. You're going to get touched.
They got something to prove.
Right.
That's who you think you are.
Yeah.
That's your number one pick. No, not in my book.
It's tough, man. I mean, it's look, it's familiarity, and then a lot of these kids have been recruited by coaches that are kind of like moved. And so that's where you can see a lot of the quick decisions being made. Here's some interesting guys that have made choices, right? Julian Humphrey, starting cornerback at Georgia, got replaced by a young freshman. He's going to Texas A&M. That's interesting because it's essentially, you're going, high level place to high level place, and you're in the same league. So, that generally. But here's one right here. Jack Pyburn, who he's legit now. I mean, he makes plays. He can rush the passer. He can turn the ball over. He had over 60 tackles as an outside linebacker, and while he was rotating, 3 or 4 sacks, couple turnovers, and then had a whole bunch of tackles for loss. Wanted to get paid, I think, like $500 and something from Florida. Florida said take a hike. He said cool. He's at LSU, so you're going to be seeing him next year, right? And then obviously LSU went and came and got Jamari Butler, and this is what letting you know what you kind of can view what their ends are going to be. 6'3", 265. Jamari's about the same, probably a little bit taller, 6'4", 260, 65. Both athletic, strong, high character dudes. That's what they're going in there to try to get. You want to know exactly what you're getting and what you're paying for. And so it's interesting to watch it. I never really thought I would be that invested in it because now it's more funny. I mean, Miller Moss, who really, after Caleb Williams left, even though Miller Moss needs to change he needs to change his profile picture, though.
Is it pretty bad?
He looks like,
look it up.
He looks, at least on the 24/7 Sport, he looks like he's like executive for The Bachelor or like The Bachelor or something. And now granted, he's wearing a suit because he's at USC, but he got his hair kind of like,
oh my gosh, right? You are not kidding. That is not a great facial expression either.
Right. He's looking like he has bitter beer face or he's constipated. And but he's
mugshot-ish.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Well, it looks like he got a hangover. If that picture was taken probably after the bowl game last year, he definitely got a hangover. Or when he was named the starting quarterback officially, he went out and got hammered. Mm-hmm. He's going from USC to Louisville.
Which is also funny because who he beat.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Jeff Brom says, yes.
I like that.
That was good.
Right. You remember what you did to me last year? I want to see
that for me.
Right. So it's, and then you got a guy like Chase Sowell, right? 6'4", 195 wide receiver coming from East Carolina, right? He's going to Iowa State.
Woo.
Right. And we saw Iowa State, right? And live on stage against Arizona State. And so you got a lot of guys making some moves and making different type of moves that you normally wouldn't think they would go to. Here's another one. Dylan Thieneman, the safety from Purdue. He was all over the field against us. He was kind of, I think he's more like an Isaac Gifford. I think he can play, like a half field safety. He's in the box safety, but then he can come down and play the run. And I like him because he's a short tackler. He's physical. He can blitz. He's going from Purdue to Oregon. Oregon went to Purdue, put in work against them, but he played well. And that's what also these kids have to also recognize. And this is where it's like the pros. No matter what the score, no matter what the circumstance, no matter who you're playing with, you have to put good tape out there.
And that's where it's going to be curious to see a guy like Jamari Butler, right? From a 6-6, 500 Nebraska team to an LSU team that thought it had a shot at the college football playoff this year. Or Dylan Thieneman on the second worst Purdue team since World War II. One of the worst teams.
He says it's World War II.
Numbers don't lie, Jay.
I know, man. But when you start
it.
bringing up World Wars, that just puts it all up in there.
That was a long time ago, man. To the only undefeated team in college football.
Yeah.
Let's see if these games scale up or if they're depth pieces, right? I don't doubt that Jamari Butler can go be a stud for LSU. I don't doubt that Dylan Thieneman can go and play at an All-American level for Oregon like he did at Purdue. But they got to prove it, right? So now we'll see, kind of take it back to where we started the conversation. Job doesn't feel like it's done for Emmett Johnson or for Nate Borkster. It's why they came back, and I'm not worried about it. We'll see for other guys, too, as they transfer up, as they go to potentially a bigger stage. Did they accomplish what they wanted to in their mind by getting to the next school?
Or is this just another step on the journey? Jobs not accomplished for them, jobs NFL or whatever.
Yeah, and it kind of depends on how many years you got left and how long they're really willing to commit to you. Because look, right now it's a 1-year deal, so you really got to get in where you fit in, even if you have 2 years left or 3 years left. You're not going to be somewhere like if you plan to go to one of these schools and you got 3 years left and you just lay an egg or you decide not to work, or you're just happy with the money that you got and you're just kind of like, I'm here. Well, you ain't gonna be there next year because they gotta get some return on investment. And here's also an interesting thing about LSU, right? They have a really good quarterback there right now, but they went in the portal and got Mississippi State's quarterback Michael Van Buren Jr. Mm-hmm. Now that's for a future, so you have to pay him like it and you have to train him like it, because most likely, well, now like their quarterback probably can come out, but with the C.
He already said he's coming back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. He said he's coming back. Mm-hmm. So now you got to be willing to wait.
Develop his future reps to get him to the NFL and Van Buren's, potential and training.
Yeah,
reps.
and he has to stay the course and not listen to the outside noise and go along with the process, all the while still pushing and competing against Nussmeier. This doesn't mean that you come in and just be second string. This means that we're here to develop you, start you at second string, but you need to try, push, and try to achieve to bite into some of those first team reps or potentially start. So it's just a whole plethora of different reasons that the portal is full and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. I think the big news, obviously, Malachi Coleman is up in Minnesota or was up in Minnesota. See how that works. You wish him the best. I think James Williams is on his official Florida State visit. Saw that online. We had also Mekhi Bear. He committed to Missouri. We'll see how he does over there. Wish him all the luck. And we had Princewell end up at Ole Miss. Yeah. Ole Miss has got about 50.
His brother just was.
Yeah, and guess who else Ole Miss got? They got Deshaun Womack for the edge from LSU, 6'5", 260. So Ole Miss is active. They got an interior offensive lineman, a tight end receiver. They in there. They're doing a lot. I'm telling you, they're doing a lot of work. So anyway, we want to take a quick break, come back. We'll talk about the volleyball team, the men's basketball team, and then we'll put a bow on this first hour. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School. We'll be back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through December 17th is 15% off all wine and spirits and 25% off on thermometers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
He has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Kawasaki dealership. Score big on Kawasaki's all-new Ridge lineup. The Ridge XR, Ridge HVAC, and the Ridge Limited, all built to take on your day with a full factory cab, including heat and AC. Stop by Indian Motorcycle of Lincoln today and rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of December. Save big on their massive selection of side-by-sides, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, and power watercraft on end-of-the-year specials store-wide at their new 27th and I-80 location.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Everybody likes choices when it comes to gifts, and a Max Tan gift card offers spray tanning, UV tanning, and red light therapy at all Lincoln locations. Give the gift that everyone wants this holiday season by visiting any Max Tan location in Lincoln or at maxtan.net.
When we're building homes for people, we're really trying to advise on the things that are going to create value so that when they go to sell it, they're going to have equity so that they can go build their second home.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, the year has been a great year for Aspen Builders. We have had many repeat customers. We've been very blessed with great office staff, with great employees, and great subcontractors. We worked with a lot of new people building their dream home. We've built some great relationships. A lot of those relationships will continue. We'll be building them another new home down the road. So I'd like to take this time to wish all of our past customers and our future customers a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Nebraska's Christmas Light Show is back and bigger than ever. The Magical Lights of Lincoln Christmas Show runs from Black Friday through New Year's Eve at Sandhills Global Event Center. Bring the family for a show they'll never forget, featuring over 1.5 million lights. Cost is $25 per vehicle from Monday through Thursday, $30 on Friday and Saturday, and also $30 on Christmas Eve and day. Purchase your tickets online today at christmaslightsinlincoln.com and get ready to experience a drive-through light show like you've never seen before.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah, what up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, old school crew. Once again, 1040 O Street. We're brought to you by the Mercado. Thanks for you guys texting in. We're going to read a couple texts and we'll get into Husker sports. Thomas and Lincoln. Do you think the committee got it right with the Heisman winner and Hunter? Personally, I think Ashton should have won it. With the stats that he put up out of the running back position, I think Travis Hunter is head and shoulders easily the best player out there. I think he's the best receiver out there. I think he's the best defensive back. I think they got it right. But any other year, I think Ashton wins, and it kind of sucks. They both did phenomenal things and historical things in the same year.
It does make me wonder. I kind of saw the writing on the wall for Hunter. I said I would have preferred Genty won it, but it made sense why Hunter won it. Totally deserving. I do wonder, Jay, Jenny sat out 8 quarters because Boise State was up so big.
Yeah.
Right. And some people take that as a strength of schedule knock, but
a little bit of both.
But also, like, what if he plays? You can't do the what if.
Yeah.
But if you're Boise State, you know this guy's good. You see he's on a roll. You see he's getting early Heisman hype. There's a very tricky line to walk, right? Do we push our guy for an individual award that he deserves? We're going to get behind him. That's going to raise our profile on the national stage. Or do we do what some people would say is the smart thing, right? Take him out, rest him in the second half of games, because what's more valuable to the university? Having a Heisman winner or being the group of 5 representative in the first 12-team college football playoff?
And you know, I don't mean to cut you off there, Austin. I don't think him getting another 300 yards wins him the Heisman. I think the yards.
But what if it's another 750? Because he was averaging 100 yards.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if it's another 750, but then it's like, then you're going to be fighting against, like, dude, you've been playing against some scrubs because there's no way you should be running. I mean, I just think at the end of the day, not no matter what, it was a close race. And so that lets you know you had two essentially Heisman winners.
And there were people that left both guys off their ballot.
And that's just because.
What are we doing?
That's just stupidity. That's the problem, is you're just wasting votes. And I just think that with Travis Hunter, I think Travis Hunter has been so dominant since he's been in college at Jackson State, and then last year, and then obviously this year he's even more dominant and even better. And he's doing something. He's playing 130 plays a game or whatever it is, and continues to be very productive. I think people just got so used to it. I think in 5 or 6 years from now, you'll realize when you see somebody else try to do it. And that's not taking anything away from Ashton. I think that the fact that he was able to, not single-handedly, but be pretty much 80% of the reason why Boise State got got into the college football playoffs, let alone got a bye week. You can't minimize that. And I think, he won the Doak Walker Award. He's going to go down as one of the best in this last 10 years as far as
Maxwell.
Won the Maxwell. So he's not walking away empty-handed. I just don't think I think Travis Hunter is the best player. It would be, he's just doing, he's the best player. I mean, I get it. He had a great year, Ashton had it, but that dude he is a dude. You don't realize how good he is until you watch him play and watch his tape. I mean, he's phenomenal. Now, so is he. So is him. Now, so is Ashton, because I think Ashton's going to put in some work in the league.
I think so.
I think I'm telling you, and the thing that's different about him, he's all football.
Yeah.
And I think when he's going to give people the dead leg, that jump cut and his balance, and I call it hit balance, where you hit him and he still is able to keep his balance. He was phenomenal.
Here's the other story, though, Jay. Obviously, Jenny versus Hunter gets a lot of the headlines. You have the two quarterbacks there as 3 and 4. For the first time since 2005, no SEC player in the top 10.
Yeah, and and I think that kind of goes along with the teams this year in the SEC. Nobody dominated. I think Quinn Ewers was there at the beginning, and then he faced Georgia. That was over. Okay, Carson Beck kind of was maybe the guy that could have jumped in there, and then his receivers had the drops, and then he had a bunch of interceptions, so he eliminated himself. And there really hadn't been anybody else.
Milroe had a lot of hype preseason.
And then they lost to Vanderbilt. It's over. And they said it too.
Nussmeier, LSU only went 8-4, wasn't enough to get through.
Right. And once you start losing like that, and if you don't play,
never jumped.
And if you don't play well in a loss or dominate in a loss, you're done. And it allowed everybody else. And on a normal year, Ashton probably might not get in. They're like, if you rush for 2,000 yards over there, and my guy rushes for 1,400 yards. That 1,400 yards in the SEC is worth a lot more. You got to think. Yeah. Kenneth Walker III was Ashton just a few years ago,
right?
And he barely got an invite to New York. Barely.
For a team going to the Peach Bowl,
right? And he was in an epic turnaround in a epic year for Michigan State. And you know what though? And then when you think about the other quarterbacks, Shedeur wasn't invited. And that's just a byproduct of having another great player on your team, and probably a byproduct of who his dad is, and it's Colorado. But either way, Travis Hunter went. Congratulations to him, and congratulations to all of them, because that is something they're in history.
Yeah.
There's only one winner. I got another texter here. It says, my opinion, if you want to transfer, then have to sit out a year. If you test the waters and return, you pay a fine. Business is business. Well, I can tell you this right now: transferring, sitting out a year is not going to happen. That rule is done. That was worked to the advantage way back in the day to the schools, because as a player, unless you transferred down, you really weren't able to transfer back up.
Right.
And so if you transferred, like if I was going to go to Michigan or whatever, Minnesota or whatever, I'd have to sit out a year. That's a lot of time to sit out. It's not a lot of time in reality, but as a football player, when you're yearning to play, especially back then, you didn't have a lot of options. And so they have options, maybe too many options, and not a lot of ramifications. I do like, I prefer not maybe pay a fine because you go see and come back, because you have to go see what your value is, because they're not giving you value. Maybe that's not a priority there. Then all of a sudden you go get value by somebody else.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you become a priority. I don't need a fine. I don't believe in a fine like that. Maybe here's why. Maybe not a fine, but like if I'm recruiting Austin, a linebacker from a lower level school, let's say Sam Houston State, and I'm bringing you to Nebraska, and you put in 3 years there, I'm okay with some sort of like European soccer transfer fee. I'm fine with that to help you out.
You did the development for us. We'll take him off your hands.
And it's not
Thank
even
you for your
because of that, but it's you lose a lot as a program, losing a player, or in Indiana's case, it's 13 players, even though James Madison is stacked. You lose a quarterback.
Well, like when Indiana lost Penix to Washington.
Right. So it's some sort of transfer fee or something like that. And, to help out I think it'd be just good business. We got an unknown texter saying they're, oh, cool. The baking cookies and donate online to Lighthouse. Appreciate that, man. That's a good 786 area code. Appreciate that. Les Lancaster, who will have a better NFL career? I will tell you this, Les. This goes for a lot of players, and I saw this firsthand with David Carr, and myself as well. And then you see other players that extend their career maybe a little bit longer than their skill set, or some guys' career is a little bit shorter with better skill set than other players. It's all about who drafts you, who the coach is, who the assistant coaches is, and then the program. I mean, it literally that can make or break your career. If you want an example, look at Bryce Young. Even though Bryce Young's the number one pick, no, he might not be Peyton Manning. He was never going to be Peyton Manning at the end of his career. But I can tell you, the structure and the deconstruction of his career started from the very first time that he got drafted by Carolina, and he was fighting an uphill battle that he might not be able to overcome. And we've seen it with Baker Mayfield being in Cleveland, did the good old boy effort, played while you're hurt. Freddie Kitchens, or was it Freddie Kitchens was the head coach? Mm-hmm. And kind of threw him out there to the wolves. He didn't like him. They didn't pick up his option.
Right.
And then next thing you know, he's in the wind, and they judged him off of him throwing with a bad shoulder. He had to go to Carolina, kind of get
cut him.
Get played with a little bit. He gets cut, resurrects his career as a former number one, as essentially just a guy when the Rams just needed to finish out a season. Mm-hmm. He shows up on Wednesday and starts on like a Saturday or a Thursday or something and embraces it. And now look at him. They just went back out. He's at Tampa, got a huge new contract, went out there to the Chargers and beat the brakes off the Chargers.
Yeah. Good Chargers.
Yeah, a good Chargers team, number one defensive team in the league, and he's balling. So just that, I think it all depends on where they go, and who's putting the emphasis of not only their career but the state of the coach and the coaching staff. Thomas and Lincoln says if you take both of them off their teams, what team does better? Well, Colorado does, because you got essentially a guy that should have been in New York and Shedeur Sanders, who's unstoppable, and plus Colorado had
Miller,
Horn, and all those guys, yeah, and a revamped and better defense. One-eyed race. Are you concerned with the miles? Ashton isn't. No, not at all, because he is he's a short, compact dude. He has miles on him, but he hasn't had to be a volume carrier of the football. He can. He's shown it a couple times. I think when we played down at UNLV, he had to tote it 35 times. So I don't think he's overworked. He's not. I mean, listen, Derrick Henry's going on year 9 or 10. My man had the most carries in high school and college, and he's still running strong.
And that's Derrick Henry, right? He might be the exception that proves the rule. But we talk about the adjustment, right, from high school to college and college to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the comparison, right? Like, how much harder is it to gain a yard in the NFL than in college? How much extra effort?
10 times.
10 times?
Well, here's the difference. Here's the difference between. I was just talking to somebody about the difference between the NFL and college, and it's just like high school. When you play, say like when Westside plays Miller South, you'll get a few guys that are going next level, so you got to bring your game normally. But if you're a Division I kid, you're the best dude on the field. So, and then in college, it rings true the same. You know when there's special guys over there and who's good and who's not, and so forth and so on. And sometimes in college, you could be just that much better, or the other team that you play is not very good, and you still get an explosive play. I remember talking to somebody that was down at UCF in the year that they won it. And they said, man, sometimes we were running a play, and have 4 or 5 mistakes, and we're still busting off an explosive run play, right? So sometimes, it's your opponent. Here's the difference with the pros. Every play that the pros run is so efficient. It's made for one guy to make a mistake, and then once you make that mistake, the running back or the receiver is going to hit their head on the goalpost. So it's extremely hard. The holes in the NFL are smaller, but they close a lot quicker because everybody knows where they're going. They're going there with a purpose, and they're on a mission, and they're very efficient. And so there's no, if you go out there and think that you're going to play NFL football and play a defender and just go out there to get yours, your defense is going to be horrible.
Because you're that guy.
Because you're that guy. You'll scheme yourself out of a lot of plays. You'll make a couple plays, but you scheme yourself right out of it, or you're selfish your way out of a lot of plays. So it's extremely hard. But the way he runs, he'll be plenty successful because he's effective in the pass game and the run game. He can run with speed, power, quickness, and balance, and he loves the game, so he'll be just fine.
I'd love to get a running back in here to get his perspective. Obviously, you're doing a lot more hitting than you were being hit, but running backs would hit you too, right? It wasn't just you hitting the running back; they'd hit you.
They ain't just taking it.
That's what I'm saying. How much harder did the running backs hit you in the NFL compared to college?
Man, I'm gonna tell you this story, man, and it has to do with your boy at the Colts. I'll never forget this, man. So I was in Buffalo. I'm a little bit older than Edrin, and so I've been playing. I played against Edrin and Peyton essentially for first 7 of my 9 years, and Edrin came a little bit later. So I seen him, and when he came in the league, I was like, oh, this dude is for real, because he was just different. His style was different. He's a big dude. He's tough, quiet, doesn't say anything. Well, then I get down to Houston. I'd played against him a few times. I played against him. I mean, so it wasn't like I didn't know who he was. I'll never forget this, man. So we were playing. So there's 2 ways you defeat, and at least I was always taught to defeat a stiff arm. Now, if he's a high stiff armor to your face, you just swat it away and keep going, right? Because you swat it away, and then you kind of like uppercut up, like you punch him actually underneath this. You can't do it anymore, but we, that say next time, then he won't do it. Or if he's a stiff arms you in the chest, you kind of run right through it. And some guys are quick stabbers. So I played against Edrin, whatever. And I never really felt this, guy's stiff arm or whatever. And Gene Huey, a former Nebraska coach, is his coach. So we're playing him down in Houston, man. And we were going at it pretty good. It was good, good battle. And, I played pretty decent or whatever. And I remember when he stiff armed me, but I still kind of just ran through and kind of like tackled him out of bounds, kind of pushed him out of bounds or whatever. I didn't think nothing of it. No big deal. Finished the game. No big deal. Man, I started benching. Like, I forget what day I used to work out hard, Monday or Tuesday. And I was like, dang. I was like, my chest was sore because I was running a little bit. I'd run to warm. I was like, dang, my chest is sore, when I come down on the bench. And then I was like, man, this thing hurt. Like, I went in the training room. I was like, yo, I think I pulled my pec or something. You know what I'm saying? They started doing all types of tests. They're like, you all right? They said, did you get a helmet in the game? And I was like, nah, because that don't happen. Went back and watched the game. I'm telling you, he punched me in my chest. And I ran through it and made the tackle. And I felt it 2 days later.
Oh, yeah.
Them dudes hit you. And they try to sneak you too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends, man. They try to, if they catch you slipping, they're gonna try.
They can get you.
Oh yeah, they're gonna try to. They try. If you do not keep your head on a swivel, the littlest dudes try to get you. This dude down when we played Miami one time on kickoff, he tried to sneak me, little DB. He tried to catch me. I like kind of slammed him, but if he would have caught me, if I wasn't looking, he would have.
Night.
Yeah, they clean your clock. And like Bobby Collins, you say you get your clock cleaned. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break. Come back. We got a quick segment. We'll get back on schedule, pre-record, and then Austin take you home. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CR-FR Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CR-F Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with a Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CR-F 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to look at their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, old school. Quick segment here. We'll get back on the schedule. It was actually a good conversation. Appreciate all the texts also as well. Asking about the Heisman, asking about the portal, or having comments about the portal. We always appreciate that because we respect your opinion. As long as you respect ours, everything's all good. But obviously the big news this weekend, I think, started the weekend off great, with the men's basketball playing India or going against Indiana, especially after a not so good performance against Michigan State. And obviously, I think the biggest thing is proving themselves right that the Michigan State outcome and performance was a one-off and showing a different type of energy and synergy. And Fred likes to use that word force from the very beginning against Indiana and did not take their foot off the gas.
They did not. But it's easy to do at home. It made sense.
Yeah.
It was good to see that when Indiana made their run, they were going to, right? You knew Indiana was going to come back, not just roll over. That Nebraska, had that, 9 minutes and 57 seconds of a 21-4 run to end the game.
Yeah.
That's exerting your dominance. That's saying this is our house. You're not winning this game. But Fred mentioned it post-game. Gets tougher after the last 4 non-conference games. You get UCLA at home. You go to Iowa. You go to Purdue. Not been kind to you. Carver Hawkeye is not a place you like to go. Mackey Arena, I don't know if Nebraska's won there in the Big Ten era. So guess what? It doesn't get any easier on the road. So good job. You turned around and the ship's righted, but you did it at home. They still got a lot to prove, right? It's a good win. They needed to win this game. They found a way to do it, and it was in very impressive fashion. After the new year, though, it kicks up again. Let's make sure this effort carries on the road this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way to look at it, everybody can, you can say, yeah, but it was at home, and that's true. That's factual. You only can play your opponents when and where it's scheduled. Obviously, going up there to Michigan State, you went up there and didn't play well, and the same, you have to take 100% credit for that. So you got to take the credit that you play well at home, and then now you're gonna have to go, in a few arenas and go to places and not only play well, play to win, but to win some games on the road, to truly erase, that performance against Michigan State. And so, I think that the mindset needs to be like, which is actually could work in this team's favor. They're still trying to gel. They're playing well, but I still think they have another gear because the roles, it can be a little bit more defined. The continuity can get a little bit better. Getting used to the defensive rotations can get even better. So I think it works well for Fred and staff that you constantly have to push them and they constantly have to prove themselves. Whereas I felt like last year, I think Rink Mass fit in so seamlessly that it was kind of rinse and repeat. Not that they didn't continue to improve, but you kind of felt more comfortable of where they were day in and day out. I think with this team, even if you get punched in the face, you still can coach them hard and they will be able to recover. So I think eventually, ideally, and hoping that when it comes down to money time towards the end of the season, they'll be even more battle tested because they're going into some Lions dens and they're going to have to fight their way out of it.
I would just like to see Nebraska not get punched in the face.
Oh, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Hey, listen.
But it can't happen to the tune of 37 points. Right?
No, that was not punched in the face. You know what that was?
Kicked in the schnuts.
No, that was just smacked on the butt and say go home. So you're going to get punched in the face. It's just how you react to it. Then you got to punch back. And I think sometimes, and you see this a lot in football, and you see it, we'll talk about volleyball here in a second, then I'll get out of here, is that sometimes as a fan, even though you know that you're playing good teams and blue blood basketball programs, football programs, you still are trying to watch the game and hope for a blowout. It ain't going to be a blowout. You know what I'm saying? It's like It's like when Nebraska plays Ohio State, you're just hoping for, thinking like, okay, we're going to beat them 40-0. That ain't happening. And so the same thing, in basketball, you can see it some because you can get hot. So ultimately, listen, you got to get in where you fit in and you got to make it happen. And, and they got more depth this year. So they're able to, continue on that process to be able to get guys to step up when they need to. But,
where blowouts do happen, though, when Nebraska volleyball faces Wisconsin.
Yes.
That's
what hey, listen.
3-0, 3-0, 3-0.
It's equivalent. The three matches that they swept different times. On the road, at home twice, and then obviously for this one, you face a little bit of your own successes. That okay, we beat the brakes off them twice, but we're going to get an even better effort. What happens if they upset us and all that? Typical Wisconsin. You're fighting some unknown ghost that you don't need to. You're like making it up in your head. Well, then they just slayed the dragon. So that was worth 2 wins. And then the better part of it is they played better against Wisconsin. And yes, you could. I know everybody. Wisconsin. No. They played better volleyball and more authoritative volleyball with more urgency and on the bigger stage against Wisconsin. So it didn't matter that they were playing Wisconsin than they did against Dayton. Felt they were like, I wouldn't say they were flat. They were kind of like watching a little bit. I thought Dayton brought it to them. Nebraska was able to answer, finish the deal. Ideally, I'm watching volleyball, wanting them to beat them 3-0. But Dayton's a lot better than what people thought they were. But I think look now you gotta go. This is it. This is win or go home. Final Four. We've been here before, and so now they just got to reshift their mindset, celebrate, refocus, and then prepare mentally and then as physically as much as you can. Obviously, late in the season. To possibly, if you got to go 5 steps, be ready.
And like you said, I mean, Wisconsin knew you knew Wisconsin, but there's familiarity all across the board here, right? You have Nebraska, Penn State in the Final Four, blue blood heavyweight matchup on one side. Pitt, who you beat in the Final Four not long ago, and one of John Cook's former players you've played a lot over the last few years, Denny Busboom Kelly in Louisville, in their home gym.
Oh, yeah. So you can't worry about the last game until you deal with the first one. That's Penn State. You get a little bit of payback. Penn State is a blue blood program. I didn't know that they won 4 times in a row, 2010 to 2013. That's pretty impressive. And then they got one of the former players and stuff, so they're going to be excited to try to knock us out, and we're going to be excited to try to knock them out. So I think whoever doesn't really punch himself in the face will win this. You're not going to out talent any of these other teams. You got to out execute them, and then obviously you got to lean on your defense. So I think Nebraska, more from a mental standpoint, is more prepared for this, for a dogfight than maybe they were last year. But we'll see what happens, come this weekend. So, anyways, we got to put a bow on it. Congratulations again to not only the men's basketball team, Amy Williams, and the women's basketball team. Quiet as kept, ranked, just keep doing their thing. Big shout out to Amy Williams and her staff and the young gunners that they have. Obviously, mixing in after Pitt's unfortunate injury, and so they're chugging along under the radar, just like they like it, but they're ranked this year, so you're getting the respect that you duly deserve. And then obviously shout out to Coach Cook, and the volleyball team. And then obviously, moving forward, all eyes will be on them, and all the support will be on them as well. So that's the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to put a bow on it, and then we'll come right back. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies, but it will be breezy. We'll see a high around 51. Tonight, mainly clear skies with light winds, a low around 28. And tomorrow, we'll see increasing clouds becoming mainly cloudy with light winds, a high around 49. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clark, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nebraska's Christmas Light Show is back and bigger than ever. The Magical Lights of Lincoln Christmas Show runs from Black Friday through New Year's Eve at Sandhills Global Event Center. Bring the family for a show they'll never forget, featuring over 1.5 million lights. Cost is $25 per vehicle from Monday through Thursday, $30 on Friday and Saturday, and also $30 on Christmas Eve and Day. Purchase your tickets online today at ChristmasLightsInLincoln.com and get ready to experience a drive-through light show like you've never seen before.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Everybody likes choices when it comes to gifts, and a Max Tan gift card offers spray tanning, UV tanning, and red light therapy at all Lincoln locations. Give the gift that everyone wants this holiday season by visiting any Max Tan location in Lincoln or at maxtan.net.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? This is Jay Foreman with Old School. We are brought to you by the Mercado Certified Piedmontese Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop. Just in case you haven't noticed, you don't hear me live, but you see me on your screen and through your car speakers and so forth and so on. The Mercado has 3 locations: 84th and the Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Andremat, and 168th and Maple up there in the O. A lot to cover. Obviously, this is pre-recorded, and so me and Austin have probably covered all things Huskers this weekend. But there was a big happening this weekend as well, as far as NFL goes. And there's a lot of talk going on around what happened with the 49ers. Obviously, if you haven't been around or aware, Dre Greenlaw came back, and he had previously been hurt in the Super Bowl. Actually was having an outstanding game, like he's been an outstanding player ever since he's been in the league. They had picked up another linebacker from the free agency from the Atlanta Falcons. And then also, I'll get into that. And so that caused a lot of issues, obviously, with the 49ers and how he handled not playing. But then to go along with it, we saw Jalen Carter and the head coach from the Philadelphia Eagles, after their big win this weekend, get into it. And the big question is this normal behavior? How does this come about? And then also, what do you do in those situations? And has it ever happened to me when I was playing, or did I ever see it happen playing? And what's the what can lead up to it when you have a guy, Devondre Campbell, a linebacker who is a really, really good player. If you look at his stats and his productions ever since he's been in the league, whether it's Green Bay, Atlanta, and obviously even this year with the 49ers, a well-respected player, number one. Very productive player, number two. And this is not this is not normal behavior for him as far as how he operates in the locker room and how he's handled his business on and off the field. And then on the other flip side, you have Jalen Carter, who is an ascending player, all the talent in the world coming out of Georgia. Quite frankly, was the best player in the draft. Slipped a little bit, off the field issues, obviously driving at excessive speed numerous times. Unfortunately, was I think not directly involved in the crash that took a player's life in a student trainer. But obviously, it's been an issue at Georgia, not only with him, but then also throughout the whole team. Had a real big dust up with Nick Sirianni, the head coach of Philadelphia, after he, quite frankly, punched a player during the play, 15-yard penalty, potentially could have got the ball back to the Steelers and then potentially could have led to their demise and a loss when you're trying to hit your stride in the NFL and win. And so it's two different situations, right, where you look at the 49ers. For the last 4 years, have always played extended periods into the playoffs, Super Bowls, not obviously winning, but a lot of football. So the expectations this year was more the same. You re-up a lot of your big-time players. You got Brock Purdy coming back, who I thought took a huge step. You got the ultimate weapon in Christian McCaffrey, so forth and so on. And when you look at the other teams, not only in your division, in the NFC, you feel very comfortable to assume that the 49ers would not only make the playoffs, but once they got in the playoffs, would do more of the same and find a way to get to the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship. Doesn't look like it right now. A lot of expectations haven't been met. But let's look at how things like this can happen with Devondre Campbell. And I will tell you, before I get into the things that I know and things that have happened and could have happened, how he handled it is 1,000% wrong. But you also have to understand, even though he is 1,000% wrong, you have to see how he became 1,000% wrong. The 49ers this year has been, they're out on the West Coast. And so when you talk about even Heisman bias, and now you have NFL bias as far as when they aren't being covered, when you're way out there on the West Coast, you don't get a lot of real-time coverage. And so when you look at the 49ers, right, you have the thing looming over their leader, like it or not, Brock Purdy, no contract. Trent Williams held out throughout the whole training camp, and I think he signed the week of the first game. Brandon Ayuk, franchise, was rumored to go not only to the Commanders because he showed practice tape of what the Commanders were doing. Pittsburgh was all but gone from or New England Patriots as well, all but gone with deals that were in place for him to lead the 49ers. Deebo Samuel, his contract status was up in the air, but they brought him back. Then they turned around and drafted Ricky Persio from Florida in the first round, who eventually was, again, this is another factor, unfortunately, tried to, obviously was shot in an attempted robbery. So these are all the things around it. Then you have the Joey Bosa situation. And then this is also one of your leaders, your unsung heroes, is Dre Greenlaw, who has been rehabbing all off season. So you got to think the 49ers, quiet as kept, as good as they are and as talented as they are, had a lot of drama, and that can drain your team. More importantly, the loser of the Super Bowl over the history of the NFL has a harder time the next season. It's amazing that the 49ers have been this consistent after losing the Super Bowl, but they have been. So you expected them to them this year. But the clock struck 12 this year against the 49ers, and they just got off to a bad start. Christian McCaffrey was hurt, who's the ultimate equalizer. Deebo Samuel was not up to the standard that he was last year, which actually he played really, really well last year. I think he had 11 plus TDs. So it cemented him on the team for this year. George Kittle battled a little bit of, I call them knick-knack injuries, nothing that keeps you out for all season, but not allowing you to really hit the ground running. He missed a couple games, and he's been a very, very durable player throughout his career. So I think it's just a perfect mix for the 49ers not to, reach expectations. Then on top of it, they haven't played. They haven't played well. The offense has not been able to get started and be consistent. They're big time and well known players have made game altering plays in the wrong way. I mean, I think Kyle Juszczyk, their Swiss Army knife of a fullback, H-back, X factor, dropped a crucial pass in a game for them to lose at home earlier in the year, which they need right now. You always want to have those type of plays and those type of victories in your back pocket. All this stuff is just brewing in the locker room. And when things are going good and you're winning, all this stuff and the drama inside the locker room that's actually divided is an afterthought, because winning cures all. But when you don't win and you don't perform, all these things start to magnify and start to come to the forefront. Now, let's look at Devondre Campbell. Obviously, he had played really well all year, he played, he was actually, look, I'm just not gonna lie, he played well this year. Second on the team in tackles. Looked good, wasn't aging, making plays fit right in. And you got to think, Dre Greenlaw is rehabbing from a Achilles injury, and this is after a bye week, and somehow, some way, it wasn't articulated clearly enough in that week and a half that not only Devondre Campbell's snaps would be cut, but more importantly, he wouldn't start, which is very important at this point in time in your career as a older player, but as a productive player, but also that he wouldn't play at all. And it wasn't obviously received. It obviously, the conversation wasn't clear enough with his agent, which then therefore would talk to his client, and then the client and the agent would talk to the head coach and the GM and potentially the linebacker coach and the defensive coordinator, because this isn't some rookie that it could happen to, and he was a street free agent, and you knew the veteran was coming back. This is a well-established former Pro Bowl player that has came in and stepped in admirably in the place of Dre Greenlaw. That doesn't mean, even if that's your choice and plan originally, that Dre Greenlaw was not only going to come back, start, and play majority of the snaps. It has to be reiterated to the veteran player that has came in and put himself in the situation to hold down the fort on your team, no matter what your record is. And so it wasn't communicated very well, and it wasn't received very well. So communication isn't one person talking to another. It's one person talking to another. Maybe you have a reply, but both sides need to be heard and not listened, or need to be listened to and not heard. So there was a lot of things that were heard but didn't listen. Therefore, it came to fruition out there in the game where Dre Greenlaw, I think, dinged up his knee a little bit. The thing that doesn't get talked about enough, the two backups that were going to go in before Devondre Campbell, they got dinged up. So actually, the team needed their former starter that was demoted, not by play, but by circumstance, the fourth team linebacker, or the fourth option, because what they'll do, they'll take an outside guy, move him in there. So there was a lot of guys that they were going to put in the place of Devondre Campbell. That didn't sit well with him. And when it came time for him to go in the game late in the third quarter, fourth quarter, he just tapped out and got kicked off the sideline. That is not the way you handle it. How you handle it as a pro, because he's been a pro up until now, is you suck it up and you go out there and play, no matter how well you play, because you know what? Players would understand that you didn't have practice reps. You might not have played up to your capabilities that you normally have been playing all year, because you hadn't played all game long. Essentially, you had been standing around because he wasn't involved on special teams or anything else. Might have been standing around for 2 or 3 hours. So it's understandable if you went out there and weren't able to play up to the normal standard that you had displayed throughout the year. What is not acceptable, and now you do not handle it, is decide to not only not go in the game, but then actively, I call it actively quit, actively tap out, and walk into the locker room. I know he has a family. I know he has friends. You would never wish a player that be your lasting memory. All the tackles that he's made. He's probably had maybe 1,000 tackles, at least well over 600-700 tackles, numerous sacks, interceptions, great plays, game altering plays. game-saving plays, unsung hero plays, and you do not want that to be your lasting memory of you walking off an NFL field. Let alone you're blessed enough to be able to walk off the field, your last legitimate play, and more importantly, the lasting memory that you have with your colleagues, not only in that 49ers locker room, not only in the admin and upstairs, but what's on video throughout the league. Everybody. Now, look, I'm blessed enough to know a little bit more about it, but to the layman's eye, they saw a player actively not go in the game. They saw a player essentially quit on himself, which is the most important, and then just as equally important is you quit on your team. And so that is not how you handle it. And I've been in some sticky situations where, you've outperformed somebody or you've, kind of split in time. But ultimately, if you love the game of football, you love yourself and you love your teammates, and you love teammates don't have to be teammates that you've had since you were like, a rookie. Once you're in a football environment and on a football team, the football game and you playing well for yourself and your teammates needs to supersede anything that, let's say, the higher ups can do to you. Because once you're out there on the field, there's nothing that can hold you back. And he decided to not take advantage of it. And I hope, and pray that he is able to somehow, some way apologize in front of his team, whether it's through his agent or with his agent, through a statement. Because I know he has a good name. He's generally a good player. No, he's not generally. He's a very good player. Generally thought of as a good dude throughout the league. Nobody's perfect, and this was a mistake on his part, 1,000%. Now the 49ers might have some fault in communication. The 49ers might have some fault in to really think any veteran player would be okay with just going from 80% of the plays, let's just say, to 0. There's some fault. There's fault everywhere. But I can tell you, 92% is definitely falls on the shoes or falls on the back of Mr. Campbell, the linebacker. So he's gonna have to take all that fault and take 100% of owning the mistake and find a way to use that same energy to turn it around to rehab his good name. It's gonna take some time. Now, listen, the good thing about it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some effort, and it's gonna have to be true effort. It can't just be a tweet. It can't just be a statement put out. You got to get in front of the camera and show some remorse. Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. Listen, there's guys in that 49ers locker room made some huge mistakes. There's guys in that 49ers locker room in that organization that have made huge mistakes. But you've made a huge mistake that's magnified now that there's social media, now that there's multiple outlets, and then they needed you the most, right? Their backs were against the wall. You needed to be in that game. You needed to possibly win that game to get a game up on the Rams. You wanted when the Rams and the 49ers left that field, you wanted both teams to be 7-7. One left 8-6, the other left 6-8. If you don't make the playoffs by one game, now this might not be true. It definitely probably isn't true. But everybody's going to point to you as the time that you didn't go into the game and the reason why they didn't make the playoffs. You do not want to live with that, because trust me, when you get retired and when you go from an active player to a retired player, you are in a different category. And when you realize that you can't play anymore, you do not want to look back on your career and say, what if? So my advice to him is clean it up, work hard at it. You're a great player. Keep playing. You got a lot of life in your body to play if you choose to do so. But even if you choose to retire, make sure you make it right moving forward. Now on to Jalen Carter. And I'm going to tell you this. If you didn't see it, Google it. Jalen Carter the defensive line coach needed to hold back Nick Sirianni because Nick Sirianni was mad, rightfully so, at Jalen Carter getting a personal foul, a play that they needed to get out of their system. The bonehead plays that has probably been a thorn in Philly's side for the last 2 or 3 seasons need to get out of their system. And a young player that has shown a tremendous amount of talent to be one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackle if he continues to work at it in the NFL. But he's also shown the inability to control his emotions in intense situations because of lack of accountability. So it's the head coach's job to address it and move on. Now, when you have the battle for Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh against Philly, the two of the best teams in the league, you are on prime time. So anything that happens on the sidelines is going to be magnified. It's there on display. And I will tell you this, 1,000%, Jalen Carter is wrong. You can make a mistake in a game, but you never disrespect the coach. Even if you don't like him, you give him enough respect and deal with it because you made the mistake. Now, I will tell you this. It's probably going to be handled, both internally. Obviously, he's going to get a fine from the NFL. He probably has his FedEx on his stool. But then also he's probably going to get fined, rightfully so, from Philly. He needs to shut up and pay it and do what he needs to do. But also, I'm going to say this, though. The behavior of some of these younger players, and this is not me saying I never made any mistakes, and I've said it plenty of times, how I handled getting traded from Buffalo was probably the biggest mistake I ever made. I'm glad it wasn't in social media, because 2 personal fouls or 2, well, I had a roughing penalty and then I had a taunting penalty, and it led to us giving up 7 points. We ended up losing the game by 4. Probably would have been on the same magnitude, even though Houston, we weren't in the playoff hunt. So I would have been all over social media. It probably just as bad. Like, who's this dude on this team that's barely in the playoff picture getting 2 personal fouls? And I probably would have been ran out of Houston. But more importantly, I will say this. The behavior of some of these young players, which I was never a part of, is a byproduct of, in my opinion, of the transfer portal in college ranks. And here's why. And this is just what I think. I think the ability for players in a championship or a bowl season or an active season to go and leave teams leads to the lack of accountability, the lack of essentially true and hard coaching towards these players, even if he's talented, superiorly talented, or just an average player. They're able to essentially dictate conversations, accountability for the most part, and then also dictate how they can, in a roundabout way, run the team. Because if I was coaching Jalen Carter and he came in and he had messed up, he could just say, well, if you're not paying me, playing me, or if you coach me too hard, I'm out of here. Because he's such a good enough player, he will be in the portal and out of the portal faster than I can hit send, to send the email that he just, going in the portal. What I'm saying is he has a lot of the power. And so how does that, boil over into an NFL sideline? Well, I know Kirby Smart coaches these guys tough and does as much as he can, but I also know he can't go to the maximum to really get him to understand what accountability is. Allow him to be held accountable, not punish, held him accountable so he matures at a faster rate than he has right now. So what you saw on the sideline is a little bit of lack of true adult maturity, which is accountability, being able to handle stressful situations, being able to deal with embarrassment, because he's got to be embarrassed. He out there in 90,000 people in Philly know he got a bonehead penalty. Dealing with that, because if you've been able to be coached hard, held accountable, and deal with those situations prior, then maybe you don't do it in that situation. Or if you did, you handle it a lot better. I think it's a byproduct of that. Also, in this day and age, when you have really good players that are coming up through the ranks, they are held at they are treated like they are the messiahs or the next coming of Jesus on the football field. And so therefore they have a thing that's called an entitlement. Some of it's earned, some of it's rightfully so. But if you abuse it, right, just like power, if you abuse it, then you would never reach your potential. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Jalen Carter. I think he is, quite frankly, is one of the most explosive defensive linemen to come out in the draft with his size, speed, mentality, tenacity in the probably last 10, 15 years. When he came out in the draft, there was nobody better than him. And I will bang on the table for it. It'll be interesting to see how he matures moving forward and what type of player he turns into based on what we saw this weekend. And then obviously what we saw in college. We're waiting to see when he can actually hit the pause button or the yellow light and then hit the red light to stop doing some of these bonehead things, because he's too good of a player. As good as he's played since he's been in the league and this year, the thing that's constantly being played is him being on the sideline and blowing off the head coach and thinking it's funny and trying to be like, woe is me, or I'm above that, or, that he doesn't know me, and this, and this. No. Here's what you need to understand, Jalen Carter. When it comes time for you to be a free agent, even if Nick Sirianni is gone, the GM knows. They negotiate against anything negative. If you talk to, I remember listening to a podcast with Jared Allen, who, if you don't know who Jared Allen is, I know our Chiefs fans know who Jared Allen is. He came in the league as obviously he's a Hall of Fame player, but he should have been drafted in the first round, went a little bit later, was at the Chiefs, came in, kicked butt from the day he got there until, to the day he left. But after his fourth year, he's negotiating or with the Chiefs. And he talked about played well, productive, time to re-up. And he's getting phone calls from his agent, and he's listening to the Chiefs, and they're telling him how bad he is, and they don't really need him. They're talking about all the little weaknesses in his game. They're talking about the things that he doesn't do well or needs to do better. Well, how does that pertain to Jalen Carter? Well, when it comes down to another team signing you, Philly re-upping you, and then here's also how they both bridge together, because the team that signs you, say you get traded or somebody else signs you in free agency, or you become a franchise player, they're going to push play on that tape. They're going to talk about every time you were late to a meeting, every time that you had an argument with a coach, every time that they'll even reference what you did back in college. They will reference anything that you've done that they can work and use against you in negotiations or to attack your character, even if they sign you back. So my advice to you, and the same thing with Campbell, don't ever give them anything they could use against you. And I fell victim to it myself. I would tell you this: coaches, GMs, assistant GMs, scouts, or whoever, they will be in the league a lot longer than you. So if you give them a chance to be petty, their new nicknames is Petty Pat. They will be as petty as can be. Take it from me, and they will be petty. But with that being said, that is Jay Foreman's thoughts on Old School about the comings and goings of the NFL. Also, a big shout out to my Houston Texans and Bills. The Texans destroyed the Dolphins, and then my Bills decided to take that short trip over there to Detroit, a little 30-minute flight over to Detroit, and bring the Lions, who I have a lot of respect for, give them a little bit of humble pie. So as of right now, I would probably say Josh Allen's the MVP, and my Bills are the best team in the league. Houston, probably about 6th or 7th, but they're on the way up. C.J. Stroud and the offense look the best that they have in over a month. So I'm happy my two teams won. But more importantly, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and Austin's going to bring it home. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and the holiday sales event is now underway with unbelievably low interest rates and huge discounts on both our new and pre-owned inventory. Right now, we're offering 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. These are the absolute biggest discounts of the year. You heard right, 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. So please stop on in or check us out online at CoppelCars.com. All deals with approved credit must trade and Costco.
This holiday season, give the gift of good taste with a gift card from Valentino's. During double discount days, double your discount from $5 to $10 free with a $50 gift card purchase. Valentino's handcrafted pizza has been a family favorite for generations, and our gift cards make the perfect holiday gift. And right now, during gift card double discount days, when you buy $50 in gift cards, get a $10 gift card free. Happy holidays from Valentino's.
At Anderson Ford, we have commission-free guides who are paid to give you a great experience, not make a sale, so you can choose the best vehicle for you. During the Get Holiday Ready sales event, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for only $379 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1003769, $375 per month. Lease for 36 months with a free credit, 7,500 miles per year, $47.50 to assign. No security deposit required. Tax title and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new redelivery from Anderson Auto Group by 1225. See delivery details.
Attention all Wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Everybody likes choices when it comes to gifts, and a Max Tan gift card offers spray tanning, UV tanning, and red light therapy at all Lincoln locations. Give the gift that everyone wants this holiday season by visiting any Max Tan location in Lincoln or at maxtan.net.
League One Volleyball is coming to Omaha this January. Featuring Olympic medalist Jordan Larson and Justine Wong-Arantes, Love Omaha Volleyball is Omaha's newest pro team. The inaugural season will showcase some of the world's best volleyball players, from medalists to NCAA champions and international superstars, with the action kicking off on January 24th at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Visit lovb.com for more information and to purchase tickets. Volleyball is the next major league.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
No DP, no J, just off Norman hanging out with you at 1040 O Street. Glad you're along for the ride. 20 more minutes of Old School, but another hour and a half of me sticking around for the Husker Football Hour with Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald coming up right at 6 o'clock, and Monday Night Football on our airwaves as well. That means Tom and I will kick over to the stream and then get you to NFL football at 6:30, but we'll continue here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961. Really appreciate Allo for their sponsorship of Channel 961 and Sartor Hamann Jewelers for their sponsorship of our streams, as well as our text line and our comment sections there on those streams. Had some interesting stuff here on the text line to get to. One of them was from, where was it? It was someone asking about the bigger Heisman snub. Was it Tommy Frazier? Or wasn't it Ndamukong Suh? Gus Mohawk, that's who it was, right? Gus, appreciate you listening, tuning in there. I don't know. I think both guys had a pretty strong case, but the perfect person to ask about that will be Tom Chattel. Tom is a Heisman voter. I almost got Tom in trouble last week. I forgot Tom was a Heisman voter. It's shame on me. Wasn't trying to get him in trouble, but he couldn't reveal his vote. We'll get how Tom voted and then also ask him who he thought was maybe the bigger Heisman snub. Of course, he did tell his story from the press box about being at the Fiesta Bowl, for Nebraska and Florida in the 95 National Championship game in January of 96. And people telling him, yeah, I voted for Eddie George, but definitely should have voted for Tommy Frazier. So it'll be interesting to get Tom's take on that. While we're on the Husker football topic, some transfer portal visitors announced recently for Nebraska. One of them just reported by On3, Andrew Marshall. He's a defensive back from Idaho. Much better FCS program than they were an FBS program. They made a smart call by dropping down a level. Their head coach, Jason Eck, was just recently hired by New Mexico to be their head coach. So Andrew Marshall says, yep, that's it for me. I'm going to go hit the transfer portal. 800 snaps for him with a 75.8 grade on Pro Football Focus. He is from California. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. Sounds like he'll be in later this week, most likely on Wednesday. 6 foot, 190-pound cornerback. You can always use help in the defensive backfield. Nebraska's lost a handful of guys from there, and a good one from the FCS ranks is on his way to Lincoln at some point this week. Other portal notes from either yesterday or today. DJ Wesolak confirms to Husker Online he will be visiting Nebraska on Thursday. He is a defensive end or an edge type of player out of the state of Missouri. He went to Missouri before transferring up to Oregon State. Only played in 3 games with 2 tackles this year. He will also have 2 years of eligibility remaining. Again, number 4 ranked player in the state of Missouri for the class of 2022. Also on the defensive line, Chris Murray, defensive lineman from Sam Houston State. He's got a few visits lined up here. He has already visited Mississippi State. He's got 2 more SEC visits as well as a visit to Nebraska lined up. First team All-Conference USA selection with 11.5 tackles for loss and 5.5 sacks this year again for Sam Houston. Let me know on the text line, 402-464-5685. Where are you guys wanting Nebraska to attack the transfer portal? What position are you thinking? And let's not skip over the quarterback that Nebraska has on campus today for a visit. Marcos Davila is his name. Marcos Davila was at Purdue last year, 6'3", 233-pounder who redshirted last year, would have 4 years remaining. He was at one point a TCU commit. He decommitted from the Horned Frogs when Garrett Riley up and left Dallas-Fort Worth to go be the offensive coordinator at Clemson. Couldn't follow him, didn't follow him. He ends up at Purdue. Marcos Davila listed by On3 as the number 29 quarterback in the class of 2024. Compare that to the guy he would likely replace at Nebraska's backup quarterback position, Daniel Kalen. On3 had Daniel Kalen as the number 50 quarterback in the 2024 class. Davila is a Texas player, went to Midland Legacy, 93 tutties, 9,101 career passing yards. They're both school records. As a senior, as a 3-year starter, then his senior year, he went for 3,300 yards and 30 touchdowns in 2023. Of course, I talked with Brian Munson about this during On the Block. Is Kawan Lacey also in the transfer portal? Brian mentioned that's a guy that used up his redshirt, played in 5 games, barely went over that 4-game minimum, and wasn't worth it. 3 or 5 carries in that 5th game that Brian said wasn't necessarily the wisest move by Kawan Lacey or the Missouri coaching staff. So hypothetically, that's a guy with a redshirt year available, but he is a day one game-changing talent for a program that might need it, right? Missouri didn't have the same season this year it did last year, right? Not off the Cotton Bowl year that it was expecting. Still a decent team, still a solid team in the SEC. Nebraska already did, of course, reel in 1 player out of the transfer portal from Missouri. That was defensive end edge player Williams Nwarni. Will he be able to convince Kawan Lacey to follow him to Nebraska? A lot of interest between Nebraska and both those guys. Of course, Kawan Lacey was committed to Nebraska for relatively late in the cycle decommitment, and he flips to Missouri. We'll go to break. We'll wrap up Old School. Then when we get back from Old School, it'll be the Husker Football Hour with Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald. Don't go anywhere. Another 15 minutes or so left here on Old School.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies, but it will be breezy. See a high around 51. Tonight, mainly clear skies with light winds, a low around 28. And tomorrow we'll see increasing clouds becoming mainly cloudy with light winds, the high around 49. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clark from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
This holiday season, give the gift of good taste with a gift card from Valentino's. During double discount days, double your discount from $5 to $10 free with a $50 gift card purchase. Valentino's handcrafted pizza has been a family favorite for generations, and our gift cards make the perfect holiday gift. And right now, during gift card double discount days, when you buy $50 in gift cards, get a $10 gift card free. Happy holidays from Valentino's.
Everybody likes choices when it comes to gifts, and a Max Tan gift card offers spray tanning, UV tanning, and red light therapy at all Lincoln locations. Give the gift that everyone wants this holiday season by visiting any Max Tan location in Lincoln or at maxtan.net.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and the holiday sales event is now underway with unbelievably low interest rates and huge discounts on both our new and pre-owned inventory. Right now, we're offering 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. These are the absolute biggest discounts of the year. You heard right, 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. So please stop on in or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. All deals with approved credit, must trade, and Costco.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to look at their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Every type of meat, every type of cut special ingredient butcher shop, located 3 places in Lincoln and 1 up in Omaha. Find them online as well today. Yeah, it's cold outside. No, it's not necessarily getting any warmer. But hey, stop by the Mercado, grab your meat. You can cook it on your oven, cook it in your oven, whatever, instead of on the grill.
It's still good, just as good. Definitely make sure you get that too for whatever you're doing for Christmas. I know that I always look forward to Christmas and Christmas meals with my family. And it's become the new tradition that we get a prime rib. So I'm certainly looking forward to that on Christmas Day. I would recommend you go to Mercado to get your own prime rib. I know they have it. I know it's going to be good. You will certainly not regret it. You heard Jay in the first segment talk about the fallout from Devondre Campbell walking out on the San Francisco 49ers. Well, a guy that could barely walk out on his own, Patrick Mahomes, suffers a high ankle sprain for the Kansas City Chiefs in their 21-7 road win at Cleveland. Guys, it's going to be really interesting to see how this affects the race for the 1 seed in the AFC. Of course, Kansas City is in pole position right now, but Buffalo is hot on Kansas City's tail. Buffalo, of course, does hold the head-to-head tiebreaker by virtue of their win just about a month ago now. Remaining schedule, the Chiefs will visit the Texans on the 21st and then turn right around and play the Steelers in Pittsburgh on Christmas Day before going to the Broncos to wrap up the regular season. Contrast that with Buffalo's schedule. Bills riding high right now. They 48-42 win over the Lions. They are home against the Patriots, home against the Jets, and then on the road at the Patriots to wrap up the regular season. What's got to happen here with Buffalo sitting at 11-3 and Kansas City sitting at 13-1 is Buffalo needs Kansas City to lose 2 or more times, and then Buffalo needs to win 2 or more times. Of course, a battered Patrick Mahomes or Carson Wentz, who is his backup, against a fierce pass rush from the Texans and maybe the best pass rush in the NFL from the Steelers, what they're able to do. And then a division rival, the Broncos, who the Chiefs have owned recently. The Broncos are riding high after a, hesitate to call it deserved, no offense, Raph. Colts lost that game more so than the Broncos won it, but the Broncos are basically in the clear right now for the 7 seed in the AFC playoff picture. You know, if there's a lot on the line for Denver, there's not a lot on the line for Kansas City. The Chiefs will certainly at least contemplate resting their starters. Is the 1 seed enough to get Kansas City to have guys push through stuff and play? Or is this a team that's comfortable, okay with going on the road like they did last year to Baltimore? They've gone on the road to Buffalo before and won to make their way to the Super Bowl. It's going to be fascinating to see. Obviously, Kansas City has already clinched the AFC West. They're 4 games up on Denver, and Buffalo has an even bigger lead in the AFC East. They're the only team over 500 at 11-3, with Miami sitting at 6-8. Still an outside shot for the Dolphins to get into the playoff picture, but the hopes are certainly dwindling. The Jets beat the Jaguars, and the Texans beat who they beat? They beat the Dolphins. That's right. That's what it was. So Houston clinches its 6th division title in the AFC South out of the last 10 years. Then 11 since Indy won a title. In the last decade, Houston has won 6, Tennessee's won 2, and the Jacksonville Jaguars have even won 2 division titles. My beloved Colts are spiraling. Things are not good. I have talked myself out of them, and just as quickly as I've talked myself out, I will talk myself back in. Oh, definitely not next week, not the week after that. Playoff chances are certainly on life support and dwindling again at this point. So, sorry, Colts, I am done with you for the year. I am done talking about you. You have done nothing but make me miserable and sad. I will check in on you next year. What doesn't make me miserable, of course, is meat from the Mercado. Appreciate them. Check them out with their Lincoln locations, and then their one up in Omaha for our friends up there as well. And hey, don't forget, our crossover from On the Block to Old School at the start of the show, brought to you by Love Volleyball Omaha. Appreciate them for their sponsorship of that and their work with us. We really appreciate everything they do for us. So I'm going to get out of here for just a second, get a drink of water, get all freshened up. We're welcoming a special guest on our Allo VIP line. It'll be Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald for the Husker Football Hour. You won't want to miss it. We'll go over the additions to Nebraska's coaching staff, the Nebraska-Cincinnati game getting moved to Arrowhead to open the 2025 season, and heck, the Husker volleyball team's in the Final Four, and the men beat Indiana for a 4th straight time. All that and more ahead on the Husker Football Hour. I'm Austin Oerman.